This is the Healthology Experts, where we talk about the art and science of health and longevity. I'm Dr. Traveler, and thank you for joining us. Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you by our Healthology Experts Weight Loss Accelerator Program. It's really 5 components, really quick, we'll go through. It's the contour light. It's a device that pumps energy into the body and helps you to just be healthier and lose inches. It's our peptides, so it's the semaglutide injections. It's the STIQ scan. It's the coaching for diet and exercise, and then coaching for lifestyle. And if you look at those things, it's like something to just make you overall more healthy, make you feel better, something to help you lose the weight that you've been struggling to lose. For many people, that's a challenge. Something to track your results and really track them really well. Something to change your habits, your eating and exercise habits, and then something to change and help you have a better mindset. Okay, so with those 5 things, our Healthology Expert Weight Loss Accelerator Program has been successful for helping so many people, and we hope that if that's a challenge for you, that it can help you as well. So brought to you by that, and enjoy the episode. Hey you guys, welcome back. I'm very, very excited today. I have a very special guest. We have Marti Davis here today. And I'll give kind of the introduction of why. Marti and I have met a few times, usually at races. In fact, I just finished the St. George Ironman 70.3, and Marti was my catcher. If you don't know what that means, Marti was at the finish line catching people that are going to fall on their face, right?
Right. Nobody fell though.
Nobody fell. And so she was there and got me my medal. And so I've run into her out and about. But not only that, she's done some events too. And a few weeks ago, I did a triathlon, and she was out there doing it. And I just said, Marti, I got to talk to you. You know, let's sit down, and I want to visit with you. And so today we're going to get to know Marti, and I just know, again, I don't know much about her, but just seeing her out and about and seeing the light that she carries, I know we're all going to be inspired today. So I'm just excited for that. So Marti, why don't we start with this? Tell us a little bit about like you and your family. I know that's a loaded question, but tell me a little bit about you and how long you've lived here and your family. I know you've got a daughter in town, so why don't you share some of that with us?
Well, Stan and I got married really young, and so we really still wanted to have fun and play, you know, as well as like in your early years, you're trying to build up to having something. But we always sorry about my voice. We always wanted to go and have fun and do things. And my grandfather had always said, don't wait till you retire to have fun. You know, make sure that you're doing it along the way. And so we've been married 58 years. We have 3 daughters, 3 son-in-laws, 4 grandchildren, and
a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, yeah. And Stan did a 5-miler? I think a 5-miler run in Park City when he was 37 years old, and he thought he was going to die.
Okay, that's where it all started, huh?
And he was really active. He'd been in motocross, he'd done racquetball, you know, but that was just different. And he said, I want to do triathlons. And I said, okay. So he started, and I said, you know, this is kind of for a spectator, sometimes it's not, you're just standing around a lot of times. I said, so I'm either not going to stand around, I'm either going to do it, or I'm not going to watch.
Got it.
And so I started doing it also. So we've been doing triathlon for 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
35 years.
35 years.
See, I didn't know any of this. I'm blown away. So do you have any idea of how many you've done then?
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
I don't even know. Some years we would do 15, 16 races a year.
Just all different distances.
Yeah, yes, we did. We were able to go to Worlds in Switzerland.
Wow.
And we did a race there that was a run and bike and run. And both took a second place, so we both got a silver medal in Worlds.
Wow.
Even though with the triathlon we didn't get the medal, we still brought home a medal.
Yeah.
That time, so.
That's incredible. And so so you've done every distance then, sprints.
I've never done an Ironman.
Never done a full.
Never done a full.
Now for those who, this is a lot of questions. For those who don't know, in triathlons, there's basically, there's multiple distances, but I always said there's four main distances. You got a sprint, and most people are familiar with the running distances, so I like to just say that. A sprint ends with a 5K, an Olympic ends with a 10K, and then a half Ironman ends with a half marathon, and then a full ends with a full marathon. And all of the other distances, the swim and the bike, are all kind of respective to that.
Yeah.
And so, but you've done all the distances minus the full.
Yes.
Which you're smart for that.
Well, it kind of just evolved because Stan had a really hard time keeping himself fueled.
Yeah.
And so sprint and Olympic worked out so well for us, and then we did a few halves.
Okay.
But he never did want to he never wanted to do Ironman because he saw a lot of his friends who just didn't come back afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
It was just too hard on their bodies or whatever. So you got to kind of have that balance.
Yeah.
What's good for you?
I like that.
There are people out there that can do 10 Ironmans and be just fine.
Yeah, I've seen that. There's some pros who come in here and they
Yeah.
go do a bunch in a year, but well, that's fascinating. So you've been doing them now, hundreds. You don't even have a count then.
I really don't have a count. I remember Stan's first triathlon. I'm not sure I really remember my first one.
Yeah. You've done that many. So
Yeah.
do you have a favorite? What's the favorite one you've ever done?
Favorite was Escape from Alcatraz.
Oh, I've heard about that one.
Yeah, we did that one 4 times.
So why don't you tell what's that one?
Well, that one's really interesting because it's a 1.5 mile swim in San Francisco Bay, and they take you out on a ferry boat. It's kind of like a restaurant on the water, and they clear all the tables and everything out, and all the athletes are sitting on all the different floors of this boat, and then they just start telling you to go off, and you jump off that boat because they don't take you over to the island.
Oh, they don't.
No,
I
they
thought
take you close to the island.
They take you close, and then you jump off.
You jump off that boat into the water, and one goes this way, and then this way, and then this way, and you swim the 1.5 miles. A guy who swims it the day before, and he comes to a meeting and gives you some instructions. He'll say, go about 7 minutes towards these yellow buildings, and then because there's an eddy that comes back up, and if you catch that, you're going to go backwards.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow his instructions, you start going out towards the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, wow.
And so, but if you follow, you'll come right out where you're supposed to come out. And it's pretty hard to swim back against that current. It's got a pretty good current.
Yeah. So when did you do that one?
We did that, I think 2002, 3, 4, and 6.
Multiple years.
Uh-huh.
How fun.
Yeah.
Well.
And it's just exciting because then it's only an 18-mile bike ride, but it's all the hills of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, out to Golden Gate Park and everything. It's pretty tough.
It's intense.
Mm-hmm. And then an 8-mile run.
Oh, yeah.
And in the middle of the run, you're on the beach, and you climb 400 stair ladders to get back up to the top road. So
it's fun, but very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Like the course is kind of crazy, but how
people are so scared of the water too because it's shark infested. 2,000-pound seals out there, and
I don't know that anyway.
And very cold.
And very cold.
Very cold.
Yes. How interesting. Well, you'll hear both of us too. We're both clearing our throats. We actually had to push this off a week because I'm keep clearing my throat. We both have been struggling with allergies. And clearing that up. So we both apologize, but it's the way it goes right now. I couldn't put it off anymore with visiting with Marty. Well, Marty, what's of all the legs then? What's your favorite leg? What do you like to do the most?
The cycling.
The cycling. That's
your
strongest leg.
Yes.
Okay.
Stan and I were both pretty good swimmers. We taught ourselves. He taught himself, and then he helped me. He just learned everything he could about it to make us better swimmers. But the bike was always really fun, and he used to call it swim, bike, die. Because he hated the run so
He
bad.
didn't like the run. See, I'm the opposite.
You like the run?
I'm a runner.
Oh, so
And
is
so
my daughter.
for me, I'm like, if I can make it to the run, all is fine. But it's the other two that I have to survive, and then I can get there.
Yeah, he never did really care.
He didn't love the run. How interesting. Well, let's go to that. So obviously, you're here. Let's do that. This is perfect timing. And I actually was thinking this. It's all meant to be. This week, I don't know when everyone is going to be listening to this, but it's Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking how perfect that we've got this mother who's inspired, because I know at least one daughter who does a lot of it with you, because I know her daughter volunteer. Well, both of them do. They both volunteer for all this stuff. So I see her daughter all the time at the packet pickups before the races and things like that, and then I see her out there running. So has that translated over to do all of your kids like the events too, or?
Oh, every daughter, every son-in-law, all our grandchildren have all done a triathlon.
Really?
And we have one son-in-law that's an extremely good biker.
Yeah.
We have one son-in-law that bike and ran with Stan when Stan was starting to lose his memory.
Yeah.
And we still were able to get him through his races that way because we had a son-in-law, the only son-in-law that could keep up with him.
Oh, really?
In those two sports.
So Stan was he was a very strong cyclist.
All the way through.
Wow.
He ran a 5K in January this year.
Wow.
And then we placed him in memory care in February.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just really sad for him because his body is so healthy.
Yeah, so he's very healthy, but his mind is
Yes.
having a hard time.
Hard time.
Yeah. But all the kids then and grandkids, that's
all
amazing.
the kids, all the grandkids, and then hundreds of people that we've inspired. Stan would always talk people into doing things they maybe didn't want to do.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's actually what really prompted me to want to talk to Marty was that, so I had a lot of family there, and my mother-in-law, who, if she's watching, which I don't know if she does or not, she is not interested in doing the events. But, you know, for the first time I actually saw at least come across her mind that, well, maybe I could, because she saw Marty, and Marty said, you should come on out and do this. If I can do this, you can. And she kind of was like, I don't know if I want to, but that's amazing that you could be out there doing that. So that was really, you know, for me, I've said in here, my mission is to help people be physically, mentally, and spiritually healthy, including myself. And I thought, boy, that goes right along with Marty's mission, because she is out there not just doing it, but, you know, talking to other people and saying, if I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it.
People are so afraid of what they look like or where they'll place or whether they'll be slower than everybody else. But you know what the last person in a triathlon is?
A triathlete.
A triathlete, absolutely. And, you know, you're not going to be one of the pros. And especially when you're getting older, you're not going to be, you know, you're lucky to be doing what you're doing. But it's just so weird that your body will keep doing it. And it will keep doing it. And we've had injuries and things that we've had to deal with, you know,
Yeah.
and work through. But the body will keep doing whatever you want it to do.
You
As
just got to
long as you-
ask it.
Yeah, as long as you just keep doing it, you know. And you talk about spirituality in it. I don't think there's any other time that you can get the kind of meditation that you get in a swim.
Yeah.
No one talks to you. You don't talk to anyone else. You're just in there with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's so methodical, you know, swimming.
I need to be better. I need to be more methodical.
And your
The swim is my hardest part, and I get in my head, so I'll have to, you know, do more of a meditation. But yeah, spiritually, I think there's some good meditation time, and on the bike, I feel like too, you know,
Yes.
just going, and
Yes.
the head games that we can play with ourselves and say, can I do this or can't I do it? And so is there one I hate to you brought up injuries, is there one that you have really struggled with, or has it always just been like little injuries and then just move past it and you do
Mostly
well?
little injuries.
Little stuff.
Little stuff. Stan was hardly ever injured. hardly had anything ever wrong with
That's
him.
amazing. What about your family and his? Was that passed down? Or you said he really had never done much until in his mid-30s.
Yeah, he wasn't. He never did any team sports as a kid, and he just didn't really do that much. But he was working at a sports club called the Sports Mall in Murray, Utah, and his boss talked him into doing that one race. But he had done motocross, so he was pretty...
He was athletic.
He was athletic.
Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's very active. You cannot hold him down. He likes to be on the go all the time.
And like genetically, his family-wise, they were healthy and active and did all that.
He's pretty much the only one.
The only one?
His family.
What about yours?
Yeah, I think I was pretty much the only one in my family also.
So you guys just got the itch and just kept going.
And that was the thing that really made it so much fun, is that we did it together.
That's
We
really
did
awesome.
all of it together. And Stan always made sure that I had the same equipment that he did. I had the best bikes and the best running shoes, whatever. He didn't put me on a bad bike and then tell me to try to keep up.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
So,
Do you now? And I didn't. I don't know. We can edit this out if you want to. But would you mind how old are you then?
I'm 74.
74.
74. 70, 74 age group. So I'm looking forward to aging up.
You're almost getting up there. And she just did, what was it, 3 weeks ago was the last one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 3
Yes.
weeks ago was her last triathlon.
And I love sprint triathlon.
That was really fun. That was my first.
Was it?
I've never done a sprint. So I'm a runner. And that's why I said I've done runs. I did a half Ironman 10 years ago, and just on a whim, and thought, well, that was okay, and I don't know that I'll do that again. But I've done lots of running races. And so triathlons that's new to me. This year I signed up for a sprint and the half Ironman and an Olympic, because I wanted to try the 3 distances. And so I love the sprint. That half, we were talking, I had all sorts of problems on my bike and my swim and things, but I'm bound and determined to conquer this.
I know. I did a half marathon this year in April.
Nice.
And it was my goal to get through it, because last year they pulled me off the course at 11 miles because my nutrition was off.
Yeah.
And I started kind of tipping. And I would have made it mentally. I knew I was going to make it, but the little guy in his cart came along and he said, "No, we're taking you back to."
So what one was that?
The Southern Utah half.
Southern Utah. That's a good one.
And this year I made it and
You
took
made
first in my age category out of 4.
There you go.
So I was really happy that I was able to accomplish that. So you keep your goals in mind as long as they are healthy for you.
Yeah.
And Stan loved to do the sprint, so we did a lot of sprints. Sometimes I would do the Olympic and he would do the sprint, but like I said, he didn't like the running, so that, kind of...
Yeah. Okay, so now I want to kind of shift it a little bit, because as you're talking, I'm flabbergasted. I'm so just utterly impressed. But a lot of the people who may be watching this, maybe older and maybe thinking, Marti's just she's too up there. So what would you say, and I'm sure you have friends, because you talk to people and you're like, come do it with me, but what do you say to people who maybe aren't active but want to be? What would be your words of encouragement? How would someone, do you think they would get started, or how have you helped people to get more active?
Well, what would they want to do? What is their strength? You asked me what I liked. I like the biking. What is their strength? And a lot of runners want to get into triathlon. So you have to kind of start there. It might be somebody you swim with, and then you talk them into going biking with you, and then you say, why don't you try a triathlon and see how you do? I think just having the enthusiasm for the sport.
Yeah, just saying I just want to do it.
It's an exciting sport.
Yeah.
And it's really not as hard. It's really not as hard as people make it
Because there's different distances.
Yes.
I think when people think triathlon, they think Ironman.
Ironman, that's all they think. And they're like, I'm not running a marathon after I bike 112 miles.
Yeah. And you can't blame them, right?
Right. So, and you know, you can take those other sports too. Like we've done competitions in swimming, we've done competitions in cycling, competitions in running. Well, we still do a lot of running races too.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere. That's the main thing. Where do you want to start? Who can we get to help you? Or how can I help you? Or how can we get you out on the bike? Or what kind of bike do you have? You know, you just got to ask those kinds of questions and then see if you can motivate people to.
Yeah. And then I think maybe just don't be frustrated too. Like be flexible when you say that. I think that's what's been for me, because as you're talking, I'm like, you're pepping me up, because I'm like, you know, just be flex, say, okay, this didn't go so good this time, so now you can make a little shift and don't stop, but just, you know, make a turn
and then switch it up. Like I've started using the run walk method.
Yeah.
You know, trying to run 7 minutes and walk a minute.
Love it.
To try and get through that half I was doing. You know, when I was 49 years old, I couldn't wait to turn 50 to participate in the senior games.
Yeah.
Come and participate in the senior games. There's 36 sports, 35 countries, 11,000 people that all show up for 2 weeks in St. George. And we meet each other, we have medical screenings, we go to dinners with each other, we just hype each other up. We've got all kinds of fun things to do, and you only have to be 50 to start.
Yeah.
Baby seniors, we call them.
Baby seniors.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, because I always said when my dad turned 40, of course I was a teenager, and I thought my dad was really old when he turned 40. And then when he turned 50, I thought, man, my dad is really young. And my son, he always said, well, that makes perfect sense. And I said, why? And he said, well, because 40 is an old young person, but 50 is a young old person. That was the way he explained it to me.
Yeah.
But no, I really, this has been really, really, well, again, just eye-opening. I'm so very, very impressed. I'm also impressed with like the survey. You do a lot of volunteering out there too then. If you're not doing it, you're out there volunteering. Do you think that has helped a lot? You just seem to be involved a lot. Do you think that would be a good way to get even started for people?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, St. George has got volunteers, a lot of people volunteering. It's got to be inspiring for them to see these athletes out there, you know, and then a lot of them probably go, I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, when they're watching all the volunteers, when they're watching all the racers in these races. But it started a long time ago. There was a race director that wasn't the very best race director, and everybody made a lot of fun of him. And then another race director came in, tried to start races, and they called themselves Try Utah, and it was 2 young guys that started it. And we went to one of their races, and I said to Stan, you know, these guys really need our help, because we've been in every other state racing, trying to find races, and they really need our help. So we would stay after, or we would come early, and we would help set up courses, or we'd help take down courses, and we just became really good friends with them. And then they sold their company, and it continued on with the next race director, and we just love him. And we like to see all the people at Packet Pickup for these runs and other races. That's really fun.
That's where I got her number. Packet Pickup.
Packet Pickup. And just pick up where you pick up your shirt and your number, and you know. And but then Steph and I both volunteered for all the Ironmans that have been here, and
and I see her at all those.
Yeah, and she's done the half.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 times. I think she said 4 times she's done the half.
I said we'll get her daughter on here too. I want to talk to her and get her perspective, huh?
Yes, she's cute.
Yeah, and she does great. I just love meeting up with her at the Packet Pickups and things. I always know she's going to be there. Now I know you said you have a blog or something. If those people are interested in learning more about you, where do you do your blog at? What's the...
Well, I started a blog when I was starting to get a little frustrated with Stan's disease. He has Alzheimer's, and I've been taking care of him for 12 years. I was able to get him through all his races. This year I'm even going to sign him up for the senior games because it'll be his 20th year.
Oh yeah.
And he gets a watch for his 20th year. I don't know what sport we're going to sign him up for, but he's going to be doing something. But, so where was I going with that? What was the question?
Because I want to know if people want to learn about.
Oh
you.
yes, so I started this blog for my own mental feelings, and so that I could keep the family updated on Stan's condition. So the Davis Daily part of that tells about Stan every week or every day or every time I write. And then I told all about our family life for a long time and all of our stories for our grandchildren. And now I do more of a uplifting, motivational, or informational about Alzheimer's or something like that, and then tell the Davis Daily.
That's awesome. And where is it at? What?
It's called Trouble and Me, Davis Daily.
Trouble and Me?
Trouble and Me, DavisDaily.com, because Stan was always trouble.
It sounds like you two got in a lot of trouble together. Good trouble.
Good trouble.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I'm gonna have to go check that out as well. All right, Marty. As we kind of finish up, the last question. Now, all of it, we know that we're mortals here, though.
Right.
That none of us are gonna make it out of here alive. So the last question I have for you on this Mother's Day week, someday, when your family is going to reflect on the life that you have lived, what's maybe, I know this is a very loaded question, but what's something that you want them to remember about you?
Well, I think I would like them to know that I took really good care of Stan and that I was very tenacious about doing that, and that I always felt like being outdoors and doing things that are fun meant a lot more than buying new furniture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we wanted to be doing and having fun. And it wasn't always easy. One time we were biking together and Stan asked me, he says, "Are you having trouble today?" And I said, "Well, my heart rate's like 180, so I think I'm trying my best." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I won't ask you that question again, you know." So I think that I want them to know that I really tried hard to continue to take care of my health.
Yeah. As
well as his.
Yeah. And not just physical, mental, spiritual health.
Yes.
That's what I see in you.
Spiritual too.
All of it. Okay. Well, Marty, I've been inspired. I don't know if nobody else takes anything from this, I'm going to take a lot from it.
We're going to be just friends forever now,
Oh, yes,
too.
for sure.
Yes.
So, and now, like I say, we've been connected on this and connected in packet pickups, and I think this is just the beginning. I get to see a lot more races that you'll get to do, and so I just want to thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in.
That's so nice. I probably have 100 things I could tell you. So
I know. Well, that's what I say. Maybe we'll have to bring her on again and maybe get a little more specific, because you can totally. I think everyone can tell we have a limit on time, but I'm like, Marty could probably give us story after story after story.
Well, you read my blog. They're all in there.
There we go.
All those stories are in there.
Go check it out on the blog, and maybe we'll have to pull Marty on again. But anyway, I appreciate Marty coming on. So this is Dr. Traveler and Marti Davis, and we are signing off. See you guys. All right, thanks for listening today. Hey, if you could please go on, like, subscribe, make a comment, go on to all the other social media. Go on to Facebook, Instagram, go on to TikTok, search for Healthology Experts. It really helps us to grow and push this message. And if you gain value from this, then go on and please participate. We try to get to all of the questions or anything that you have, any responses or comments. So go, like, subscribe, do all the stuff that you know helps us. All right, guys, see ya.